guys? Josh Skinner here, Uncaged Fighter. I want to talk to you guys about the number one question I've been getting recently, ever since I posted my snake diet results, where I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks using Cole Robinson's snake diet principles. So, and that question is, the number one question people are asking me is, what is the most effective snake diet protocol? Okay, so if you go to Cole's channel, you'll notice that he has a shit ton of content, and he is constantly tweaking. If you spend any amount of time on his channel, you know he is constantly tweaking his methodologies, constantly tweaking his approach to the snake diet and to weight loss. You know, back in 2016, it looks very different than how it looks just recently, and even today or yesterday, he's continuing to tweak all of his content, where you know, right now, like, it seems to be that the main focus isn't so much on the fasting, and the fasting is still there, it's still part of his, you know, overall guiding principles, but really the main issue is moving more, being more active, being as active as possible throughout the day. So, you know, if you're a newbie to the snake diet, if you're a newbie to this whole kind of fasting focused lifestyle, all that content, and I mean, that's just Cole's content. We're not talking about all the other people that are out there providing kind of their input on it. You know, it can be very daunting, and you can kind of find yourself in a little bit of analysis paralysis here. So I kind of want to use this video as a way to answer those questions I've been getting, and really maybe help. You know, if you just come across this channel, if you just come across this video, and you're kind of new to the snake diet, if you're new to fasting in general, and you want to get going and be on the most effective protocol you can be right from the get-go, so you can get that fat off and return to a more normal style of eating as fast as possible, I want to give you that. I want to make sure that you have that. So, you know, so for me, like I said, you know, I not very long ago, I lost 40 pounds in about 7 weeks, utilizing the snake diet, utilizing some of the principles. And I had a little bit of trial and error in the beginning, and then probably the last 4 weeks, I settled into what I'm about to talk about, what I feel like is the most effective protocol. You know, so I've done the trial and error. I've been there. I know kind of what you're going through. You know, with the one to lose weight and one to get it off fast, because you do want to get it off fast. That's what's going to preserve the muscle mass, and that's what's going to keep you from, you know, kind of downgrading your metabolism, or, as like Cole likes to say, committing that metabolic suicide. You want to get that weight off fast. And so this is the fastest way to do it. It's the most effective way to do it. It takes a little bit of willpower, but you can kind of ease into it. For me, what I eventually settled on, you know, about week 4, I was starting to stall in some of my weight loss. I've been doing some 42s and kind of dicking around a little bit with my refeeds. And so for the last 3 weeks of it, what I ended up settling into is something called the rolling 72. And what a rolling 72 is, it's where you do a 72-hour fast, okay? As soon as you hit that 72-hour mark, you have a refeed window of 1 hour, okay? And then you go immediately back into another 72 fast, and you continue that cycle until you've lost the weight that you want to lose. All right. This is again, this is by far, when we're talking about fat loss, this is the most effective. But it's not just effective for the fat loss. There are a lot of other kind of ancillary benefits to this fasting, this approach to fasting, this particular protocol, right? So the weight loss is through the roof. It's insane. Like, the amount of weight that you're going to lose is going to be crazy. It's going to drop off faster than anything else you've ever tried. I promise you. If you commit to this, it will. But not only that, like, you're going to give like your digestive system a break, right? Like the typical Western diet. I don't even say Western, more like the modern diet, because it's kind of everywhere now, right? This kind of shitty McDonald's lifestyle diet, right? You're going to give your digestive system a break from all that shit you've been putting in, right? And just kind of give your digestive system just a chance to kind of catch up and heal and get all that shit taken care of. You're gonna have an improved insulin response, just amazingly improved insulin response. Your HGH levels, your human growth hormone levels, are going to go through the roof. Your autophagy levels, right? So your body's natural process by which it kind of gets rid of old cells, disease cells, stuff like that, is going to go through the fucking roof. Okay, 72-hour fast. It starts really ramping up at about the 24-hour mark. But man, when you get to the 72 hours, it's like you're glowing. That autophagy process is just boom. And your inflammation response is going to go way, way down. I noticed when I was doing this fasting process, I have a lot of aches, pains, shoulders, knees. I'm a kickboxer, so I put my body through a lot with the weightlifting, with the training, stuff like that. And I always had like nagging pains. That stuff really, really started to dissipate quite a bit throughout my fasting process. So like I said, we're going to be doing something called a rolling 72, and I have a little infographic kind of at the end of this talk. So those are the benefits. Again, 72-hour fast, right? 1 hour break where you can eat, get a bunch of food in, and then go right back into fasting. Okay, so fasting for another 72 hours, and again, you're going to rinse and repeat. You're going to rinse and repeat until you lose that weight, until that weight comes off, right? So at this point, I know a lot of you are probably asking, well, if the fasting is so great, why break the fast at all? For most people, this is going to be the most effective protocol in terms of compliance. Now, unless you're like morbidly obese, you can probably go a little bit longer. Cole talks about this on his channel a lot. You can probably, hit like a 96, something like that. But for most people, 72 is going to be the most effective. It's going to prevent, when you break that fast, one thing that it prevents is preventing that metabolic downgrade, right? Where your body wants to naturally kind of make up for the lack of calories by slowing down all of those different metabolic processes that kind of accumulate, that we tend to just call them metabolism, but it's just all different kinds of bodily processes. So your body has a tendency to slow that down if you are if you're keeping your calories too low for too long. Okay, and Cole refers to this, he's been referring to this a lot recently, as metabolic suicide. You're committing metabolic suicide if you fast for too long, or if you remain in a calorically restricted state for too long. Okay, so this kind of resets that whole process, right? And I also mentally, it kind of gives you a light at the end of the tunnel, right? So if you're only going to be fasting for 3 days, for 72 hours, you have mentally that light at the end of the tunnel that says, okay, I can, I know that I'm going to get to eat. All right, and that's an easier pill to swallow than some of these folks out here who are, they're trying to fast for 14 days, they're trying to fast for a month, they're doing insane types of fasting. I mean, it's tough. There's a lot of mental, that's a lot of willpower it takes to do that. So I'm not knocking them, but from a pure compliance standpoint, you tell someone, well, you can fast for 3 days or you can fast for 14. People are going to go with the 3 days. It's a lot easier pill to swallow. People are going to laugh at or be very, very afraid of that 14-day fast. So we really, really want to maintain that compliance, because this is something that's going to take a while. It took you a while to accumulate all that fat on your frame. It's going to take you a little bit to get that fat off. With fasting, it comes off a lot faster, but still it's going to take some time. So that's why we break the fast. We don't want to put ourselves in that kind of like that, what Cole calls that metabolic suicide. We want to have that light at the end of the tunnel, keep that compliance nice and high, right? So you do want to break the fast. And how you break the fast, the best way to break the fast, because when you're in that 72-hour fasting, right, you have thrown your body into ketosis, all right? So you're in ketosis, right, but you don't have any food in there. Like, you've gone through your glycogen reserves, all the sugar's gone, you're on ketones, right, but there's no food there. So your body starts breaking down the fat, okay? So we want to stay in that ketogenic state. We want to stay in where fat is by far our only fuel source. So how you break that fast is you want to keep it to nice fatty meats. Fatty meats, eggs, those are going to be your two big ones. So big ribeye steaks, pork, nice fatty cuts of pork, and lots of eggs, and you have a pretty big volume of food. Cole talks about, and in my experience, this has been what's most beneficial to me. Eat until you are what he calls comfortably full. I would say just on the edge of being uncomfortably full for me. That's what helped me the most. Is just on the edge of being just a little bit uncomfortable, but not more, because then it's too much. The calorie count's probably going to be a little too high, and you just feel uncomfortable. It's just not a good feeling. I had a couple days where I went way overboard with it, and I felt miserable during it. So when you break the fast, lots of fatty meats and eggs. Eggs are going to really help out a lot, especially if, like, maybe all you have is like hamburger meat, and like it's maybe a leaner hamburger meat, or if all you have is like chicken breast or something like that, it's just a leaner cut. The eggs are going to help get that fat in, and that's really what you need to stay in that ketogenic state, so the higher fat content. And so you eat until you're comfortably full, maybe just on the edge of uncomfortable, right? You get that all in within about an hour, and then immediately go right back into that fast. And you're not eating enough calories to where it's really going to ruin your results. But you're keeping that, you're giving your body something to keep that metabolism nice and high. You mentally, right, you've taken a break, you get some of that dopamine response, right? Because fasting is very, very hard on your body, produces a lot of cortisol, a lot of adrenaline, kind of ramps you up a little bit. So that eating kind of brings you back down, to normal. You can kind of be relaxed. That fat's really good for that. Fat's going to help you sleep that night. So we definitely want to make sure that we're breaking the fast with a big, fatty, meaty meal. And I'll leave it up to you. I ate all kinds of stuff: steak, pork loin, barbecue, all kinds of stuff. But I kept it with meat. I didn't go with like a bunch of sides or anything carby like that. I did have some vegetables here and there, just because there are some places I like to eat and they just throw vegetables in with all the meat, so I eat it. And so that's how you break the fast. Now, on the days that you break the fast, and really throughout this whole process, one thing that you really need to make sure that you're doing is that you're staying active. And again, Cole has been harping on this a lot recently. And I think for, my results, being able to maintain muscle mass and being able to keep my energy levels kind of high, was staying active. And that meant continuing to do your workouts, right? So making sure that you're doing some sort of strength training, making sure you get some cardiovascular work in, but also throughout the day that you're also very active. Cole has been recommending a lot of doing things like switching to a standing desk, spending more of your day on your feet. And the more of your day that you can spend on your feet, the faster the results you're gonna have. In my initial phase, I did not spend a whole lot of my day on my feet. Well, I spent more than most people probably, right? Because of just what I do. And because I have kids, and I'm very active with my kids when I play with them. So I take them to the pool, we go swimming, we run around out back in the backyard, things like that. But nowhere near how I have it now. I've been kind of taking some of his stand more, move more, kind of some of his preaching, and I've been really kind of trying to apply that in my life. And so that has helped out significantly. I didn't do it in the beginning, but I think if you did this with your dieting, that you would really, really see a big bump up with your results. So, and probably even losing them faster than I did. So again, to recap, and I'm going to go ahead and get the infographic on the screen now. So here's how it's going to go, right? We're going to start our fast with a 72-hour fast. Now, before you go into it, you may want to use the Elliot Hulse method of easing into fasting, and I will put the link to that video in the description, or his kind of series, his Intro to Fasting series, in there, where you start off on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, eating low carb, right, and then hitting Monday, going into a 72-hour fast on Monday. So you're already in a low-carb state. You get into that fast. It actually makes that going into your first fast a lot easier. So the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday before you start your fast, if you're going to start your fast on a Monday, you go low carb, and then Monday, Tuesday, and then into Wednesday, there's no eating. Now, Wednesday evening, you can eat. So let's say you stop eating Sunday night at 8 o'clock, right? You can, that's where we cut you off, right? Then you get on Wednesday night, that following night, you haven't eaten anything. Wednesday night, you have a 1 hour refeed window, right? Good fatty meats, a lot of fatty meats, lots of eggs. That is just eat until you're comfortably full. Making sure to stay active. It's a good idea to work out, have maybe a weightlifting session on those days, on that Wednesday. And then as soon as you finish, as soon as that hour is up and you feel comfortably full, or maybe just on the edge of uncomfortable, you're immediately going to go back into a 72-hour fast, okay? So that is kind of Wednesday evening, you're going to Thursday, Friday, and then you get to eat again Saturday evening, okay? And again, it's going to be a good fatty meal, lots of meat, lots of eggs, right? And then you get that 1 hour on Saturday, back into a 72. You're going to keep doing this. 72-hour fast, 1 hour eating window. 72-hour fast, 1 hour eating window. And you want to make sure that you are active the entire time. You're working out, you're staying on your feet, you're playing with your kids, you're taking a walk with your significant other in the evenings or sometime during the day. You're not vegging out in front of the TV. There's no reason you can't just stand and watch TV if you absolutely have to watch TV. There's no reason you can't play video games if you absolutely have to play video games. There's no reason you can't work at a standing desk, right? You can get some stuff to elevate your computer. If you don't want to pay for an actual standing desk, because those can get kind of expensive. Elevate your workstation and work from there. Be smart about it. Get that weight off as fast as you can. And that's it, guys. I mean, really simple process. You just have to have a little bit of willpower. It gets easier. Your first week's gonna suck. I'll just tell you that right now. Your first 2 72-hour fasts are gonna suck, but it gets so much easier after that. The fat is just gonna fly off your frame. So, and that's it. That really is it, And we call this the rolling 72s. Fast, 1 meal, fast. So 72-hour fast, 1 meal, 72-hour fast. Super simple. Rinse and repeat until you get those results. And once you get those results, that's when you can start kind of normalizing your eating habits. So if you have any questions or comments, go ahead and leave those in the comments section. I will have links to Cole's channel, links to Elliott's channel, links to my original story about how I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks in the description. And if you like this kind of content, please go ahead and hit that like button and consider giving my channel a subscribe. I really appreciate it. So thank you guys very much.